Hello, hello. A little update from me. So, yesterday I was kind of thinking about setting up like a parent state machine, but I figured out, I just remembered, of course, we have multiple roles in our service, and these roles are independent processes and they cannot be managed through this parent machine. So, I ditched this idea. And what I did, I first like started cleaning it a little bit. We still have quite some details to figure out, but I figured out before I had here actions that actions can be defined as actions that happen on the entry to the certain state or at the exit of a certain state or on a certain event inside of the state. So I updated this in all of the machines. What happens in the entry, what happens at the exit. So this is one thing. And the second thing, I was trying to play a little bit with this attester state machine. And I tried to simulate it using this interpreter in JavaScript. So once you have a state machine written, you can use this interpret that comes from the XState, where I'm using that module. And then you get like the whole service and you can listen on transition. So whenever state changes, you can log that state, you can do stuff. So I simulated by first, let's just skip all these things. I'm just basically checking what is the current state and I'm logging it. And then I'm checking if the first state is, for example, connector encoders and hosters, and I reject it. So I simulated there was that the promise was rejected. And then I retry for 2 times, and then I resolve it. And after that, I transition to the next state. This one I resolve normally, and then to the last state, and I also resolve it normally. And just to remember, this is this thing. So I basically am in idle state. There is a new hosting setup event. I get to the connector encoders and hosters. I reject it. Then I retry. I reject it again. I retry. And the next time I resolve it. And here I also just resolve it. The last one I also resolve it. And then it should return into the idle state. So when I run the code, I start with the idle state. It goes through connect encoders, then it fails to connect, then it goes to connect encoders again, and to connect encoders again. I log something else also, so it's a bit confusing, but it again fails to connect, and then once it passes, it goes to the next state, and then to the report, and the last one is then back to idle. But what are these other logs? So I also, next to this, wanted to save the current state, because if the machine crashes, we want to be able to know what was the last state that machine was in. So I just like quickly set up the Hyper-V database that is built on top of Hypercore protocol. I basically just store first, when every transition happens, I just check what was the previous last saved state and I log it, and then I store the current one in the database. I overwrite it. So that's about it. That was my funny day.